Hello, Shannon Leaf here with Lovely Leaf Applique. I'm going to be doing a video for you today on how to make our bow zipper pouch. It comes in 4 different sizes, but the instructions are pretty much the same. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and let's make it. Okay, first things first, we are going to cut and press our fabrics. This is going to be the 4x4 design. I have the bow here. You will notice the bow is folded according to the instructions with right sides together. That's the only one that's going to be sewn with right sides together. So make note of that. This is going to be our faux knot. And so you'll see here that I have it folded in half. And then I fold in the edges and then I fold it back in half again. And you want to try and keep that fold right on top of the other fold. This will give you nice clean faux knot. Then we have our top front folded with wrong sides together, and we have the bottom front wrong sides folded together. And then we have, this is going to be the inside, this is going to be the back, and this is going to be the inside. So we have our fabrics prepped. All I have to do is grab my zipper and my ribbon and my hardware. But I just wanted to show you guys the fabric cuts and folds, just in case that part has confused you. Okay, now that we've got all of our materials together, we're going to load up step 1 onto our machines. And that is the step that is going to sew the seam on the bow and the side seams on the faux knot. So give that a go. I have a thread that's caught. I'll just snag that up real quick. Okay, so you're going to notice 2 rectangles that sew. What we're going to do is we're going to lay our fabric within those rectangles, and you're going to want to grab some tape and tape those down. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, here we go. I have the bow taped down to keep it from shifting. It's very important that you do not want it to shift, and it's very important that you get at least it lined up lengthwise with the top here, and then down here you want to make sure it fits straight in that box as well. And I like to tape the ends on that one. It just makes the tape easier to remove when that step. And here we go. It's going to stitch the side seam. You'll notice that the fabric is slightly longer than the bow, and that's okay. We want that extra length, and unfortunately it just extends beyond the hoop's capacity. We want that extra length when it comes to the bow, because when we cinch the bow, it's going to pull those edges in. So extra fabric is key. There's one side seam. Now that is stitched, all I'm going to do is remove it from the hoop. I'm going to remove the tape and as much tearaway stabilizer as I possibly can. I'm going to turn the bow right side out and get that pressed and attached to my zipper pouch. The key about pressing this bow, and I'll show you here in a minute, we want that seam to be in the center of the back. All right. Okay, we are back here. I just turned the bow inside out and pressed it. You'll notice the seam is in the back. I kind of centered it there because this is going to be the front of the bow, and it just makes this edge look much nicer. I've removed the faux knot, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to put a 1/4 inch seam on the end there, and then cut it with pinking shears, and then turn it as well. And we'll see what that looks like here. Okay, here's my faux knot. I put that 1/4 inch seam allowance and then trim the ends with pinking shears. That'll keep it from fraying. I do also want to mention that I know not everybody has their sewing machine readily available for that small little part. Do just a little hand stitch, or get some fabric glue, glue those ends together and allow that to dry, and then you should be all good. So there's other ways you can do that. So alright, next step is we're going to thread the bow in through there, and we're going to pin it to the front bottom piece of fabric that we already have prepared and waiting for. Before we do that real quick, I did want to just point out, you notice we had extra fabric on the ends, and there it is. When you press it, you're not even going to notice, and then when it's sewn to the pouch, that opening isn't going to cause you any issues, just in case you were worried about it. Okay, on each of the front pieces, I did just kind of make it straight across the board. You're going to want to measure down 1/4 inch from the fold on that front bottom piece. And that's going to be where you're going to want to pin your bow. When you go to pin your bow, you want your pins to make sure they're close enough to the end so that it holds the bow down flat, but far enough away that it doesn't get hit when that piece is being sewn on the embroidering machine. Okay, so we've got our bow prepped, we've got all of our materials. Here I have my ribbon with the ring on it already. I like, again, to do a little basting stitch to hold it together and keep it straight. I've got my zipper, and so I am ready to go. I've got the design loaded up here onto my machine. This again is the 4x4, and I actually already stitched step 1, which is the placement stitch for our zipper. Okay, we got our zipper in, taped up. We are ready to run step 2. This is going to be the tack down for the zipper. Okay, we got our zipper in, and we are going to run step 3. This is going to be the placement stitch for the top of your zipper pouch. It seems like my wiper is not going to want to cooperate during the video, so. Alright, we are going to lay our fabric fold side down over the zipper. That stitch line where the zipper is sewn down, that's also where your stitch line is going to be on the top side of your fabric. So that's a good measure. You want your fold to be over that. So you can get close to the zipper, but just don't get too close that it covers the zipper. Otherwise you'll have a large fold of fabric right there, and not only will it look pretty, but it might get in your way when you try and zip up your back. Also, you're going to want to take this time to remove the tape on your zipper. Before I begin stitching, I did want to take this down. You're going to see I'm a huge fan of tape for holding my fabrics and pieces in place. It's a good tool to have to keep those fabrics from slipping underneath you. You can also use, a chopstick or a, pair of scissors. Just be careful, of course. Okay, we got that stitch down, and we're just running the placement stitch to the top. Okay, I've got the bottom placement stitch done. I've got my bottom piece here, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, those pins are probably going to be too close to the stitch line. So I'm going to adjust those and then put that back on and get it sewn into place. Again, use tape to hold your fabric down in place. Especially with the bow, it's going to want to pull up on you, so securing it during this step is critical. Yay! We got the bow sewn in. So, pat yourself on the back for that, because that is a scary part. Also, take this time to remove any tape you see. Get that removed. Get your pins removed. We're going to quickly sew in our keychain slash little decorative ring, or you can put your, you know, made with love tag. So, whatever you prefer there. There's lots of options for that. I'm just going to do a simple keychain. Use this as a little coin purse. And I've already got the placement stitch in here. You can't really see it, but it's this little one off to the side. So just going to make sure I place it over there. Keep your keychain out of the way so it doesn't hit your machine or your needle. And we'll check. Yay, we're almost done. Okay, so I've got that sewn in. You'll notice I've pulled the zipper away. This is my biggest mistake. Trust me, you do not want to make it because it's going to require you to pull out seams, and it's going to take an extra 30 minutes on your project. So, very, very important, get the zipper pulled back. Just towards the center, you just want to leave yourself a little hole and keep it from the edge so it doesn't get hit. Also, this thing wants to slide around in there, so grab that tape and tape it down away from the edge and away from over here too. And I think that's it. We're going to take the back of your fabric. I repeat, the back fabric, and put that over right side down. Secure it with pins or tape and run the second to last step. Okay, so I didn't secure the top, and this is what's going to happen. Just a little pinch there. It's really not a big deal. I'm not going to take it out. This is for me, but to save your headache, put tape on all four sides, okay? We're going to remove the hoop now and turn it upside down. And we're going to take the inside fabric and do it right side down. All right, I use temporary spray adhesive. This is what I like to use for my basting spray. And I spray the hoop and not the fabric. That keeps the fabric in the end from being sticky. So basting spray tends to stick to what you put it on, and it doesn't really come off on the fabric. And if it does, it's just a necessary evil. So again, the hoop's turned over, right side down. This is your inside fabric. We're going to turn it back over and load it up. All right, we are running the last step. I've made sure that the fabric is not shifted. We do one last switch around. Getting secure. Okay, we're going to remove our project from the hoop. You'll notice I've removed all the tearaway stabilizer. I've even reached in on the inside to remove that as well. And take some pinking shears, trim around close to the edge. Do leave extra fabric on the bottom around the opening. That will help you when you go to seal it shut. Yay, first turn done. You got to be patient turning it inside out. It's a small pouch and it's a small hole. So what you're going to do is continue to remove the rest of the tearaway stabilizer. I also trimmed these random threads that, you know, are just a natural part of the process. And then I go to my ironing board, press that in to get a nice crisp fold. Okay, I've got that folded and pressed. I take liquid stitch. You can also hand stitch here, or use heat and bond, or whatever it is your preference for closing up in the hoop projects. I like this unique stitch. If you're a member of our Facebook group, just go to the search engine of the group and type in unique stitch, and you should find a link there to purchase that on Amazon. Okay, there you have it. I've turned it out one more time through the zipper. You do want to let that glue dry if you use the liquid stitch. I also use a little binder clip to put that on there and kind of just hold it there for, you know, a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It is supposed to be, they say it's water soluble for the first 20 hours. So you do want to let it dry a full 24 hours before you wash it in the washing machine. I personally have not washed anything on it that I know of, anything that I used it on, but that's just kind of a word of caution. But there you go. I've also pressed it with an iron. I like to spray it with water and then sort of steam out all the wrinkles and creases and all that good stuff. So there you have it. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you'd like to see any other tutorials, just shoot me a message.